p.m. Comments, suggestions, or petitions by residents in attendance regarding items not on the agenda. And then discussion items, the garage management monthly report.
Forrest Freeman with Reef. How's everybody doing tonight? All right, so we're continuing on. From a revenue perspective, I will say that May was kind of flat with April. Didn't really see a pop. The months that we normally will see a much larger rise are June, July, August, September, October. So we're anticipating everything to rise up. Monthlies are pretty flat as well. They're just kind of, couple leave, couple come in. We have a few people on the waiting list. Those are generally people who just haven't responded to us saying, hey, we have space for you, because we do have space at Chestnut Street. I will say the nice thing is, compared to 2019, we are up about $10,000 month to date combined, and overall we're about $15,000 up year to date. So definitely seeing that trend, spiking as we get past COVID, which hopefully we can stop talking about that as much. Nights are picking up. The weekends are strong. We brought in another manager, so outside of Martin and myself, there's another manager that's helping Dina at the garage, just additional level of support and assistance, also allowing her to take some time off that she well deserves. And so overall, again, things are relatively normal, relatively quiet, knock on wood. From a trending perspective, let's say it kind of leveled out, April into May. That's revenues, dipped a tad bit. On the ticket side, I think the tickets actually went up a little bit, so our average ticket price went down a slight bit. But overall, it's trending as we should. If we you can go to the last slide, please. Then kind of seeing our transient revenue trends, and as you see from last year, where May, June, July, August, it all kind of spikes up. We're anticipating that same trend to continue, be a little bit stronger than last year. So we'll see that same trend as we get into those months. But even this past month, I know Bicentennial dipped a smidge and Chestnut Street went up. So it's on the transient side. So things are, again, moving along nicely. They're, hopefully we're not going to see any spikes of COVID or any of that stuff, and we'll keep seeing our revenue numbers going.
My questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. And the director's report.
Thank you. You have handouts of it, and it's on the big screen there. Thank you, Bill. And on our second slide, it's just talking about where our garages are. You've seen it before, but let's jump into the money. Very good numbers for meters and garages for the month of May. Parking ticket revenue is down, and Hector and I talked about this. And in past years, you've seen maybe a 10% decline from April to May. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's a pattern. So when I see a 20% decline, we ask questions. We want to find out what's going on. So we're going to do more work on that, but we think that there was a pretty steep drop when in May, because the student population, the last day of school was early this year, May 5th. And when you look at our average tickets issued, it really goes down in that week that the students are gone, and has kept trending downward. We also have had not anything unusual to be alarmed about, but it's just more time off has been taken this month of May than people stacked up time off, and we had less boots on the ground to write tickets. So we're keeping an eye on that, because June's going to be challenging as well, because as you know, we're doing the paving, and when we pave streets, we have to pay enforcement officers to go out and put up all those signs that you see for temporary no parking, and they can't write tickets when they're putting out signs. Although some may be gifted enough to multitask, but I think they're concentrating on getting the signs done, and it's very time consuming. So we'll keep an eye on enforcement revenue. The good news is, bottom line, with these three main revenue categories, we're still $127,000 or about 7% above budget for the year on just these three items. So that's a really good sign. That's telling me that the numbers I'm really happiest about are garage revenue and meter revenue, because that tells me people are coming to the town. And we're beating our budget expectations on both of those numbers. And we were conservative coming into this year because we didn't know what was going to happen. But 2022 is looking rosier as the year progresses. So I'm happy about that. In an ideal world, we don't write any parking tickets, right? Because everybody obeys the rules and pays their meters in garages and don't park in front of fire hydrants or on streets that we need to sweep at 2 a.m. So that's where we're at. Garage repairs are wrapping up at both of our locations, and we're looking to bid the deck coating project earlier in the next month or two. I have to get together with our new director of public works to talk that through. The big news for this month are a couple of improvements that we're doing on the back end that you can't see. We have uploaded a gigantic chunk of data and gotten it formatted, coded, and loaded into our database that we have constructed ourselves. That is one of the main things that our data manager is doing, Nick Fink, is our projects like this. So we've loaded 4 million transactions. So that's a big number. So we're going back to early 2018 with that data. That's really good because it's spatially cognizant data, it's transactional, it's very fine-grained data, and we can analyze that data with some pretty good precision, meaning you can ask questions like, what does parking revenue look like on Saturday nights leading up to happy hour and closing after 2 a.m.? And you're going to have, because you have 4 million transactions, you're going to find enough example data points in there to really understand what the behavior is. And the locational data is in there with every transaction. We know where that transaction took place because it's tied to every poll, every past and present poll. So we're going to leverage this information to help us make a decision about the East Market question of, forgetting the block now, slipping my mind, 200 block of East Market, whether or not that should be single-spaced metered or not. We can look at neighboring blocks and make an informed decision about what kind of revenue that can yield, knowing that we have 219 apartments coming pretty soon right down the road. So I'm excited about that. And the other thing I'm excited about is that this is really good, Bill. So kudos to you. Kudos to Nick Fink for pulling this off. Hector, thank you so much for convening the meeting. We got our parking enforcement officers trained up on the Survey 123 app, which is built on the Esri Geographic Information System platform. And just for giggles, I turned it on, I looked at it, and Mohammed and Hassan had already gone out and created data points that afternoon. So we did the training at 2 o'clock and they were running out there already doing it. So we are kind of just in the infancy right now. We're testing it. We want to make sure the data that the practice meets the standards. So we're just making sure that when they go out and do a vehicle count, they're doing it correctly. And so every dot on this map, I'm only showing you a little flavor of it, has this information about. And most of this auto-populates. So only enforcement officers do is turn the app on. It knows where you're at. So it already pre-selects the location you're at. You just have to pick which side of the street and enter in the number of cars that you see parked there. And then click submit. And everything else is loaded into the database. The time of day, the humidity, the temperature, whether there was a special event or a traffic alert nearby. So all that's automated. All we're asking the officers to do is do a count. And Hector's going to manage those assignments and help us program data capture. And it's just going to become a routine that we do. You write tickets. You are you know, your eyes on the street, there's public safety aspects to the parking enforcement officer's duties, but we also want you to collect data for us so we can make better decisions down the road. So we're just getting this database started. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, so thank you for getting it off the ground. All I have, thank you.
I think that's a wonderful thing that we're doing. I think it's going to benefit. A lot of decisions are going to be easier with more information, and I think that that will be extremely helpful. So thank you for everyone involved. That's enormous. Okay. Action items. Approve May 2022's Parking Committee meeting minutes.
Approved.
B is consider removing the handicap parking space at 137 East Minor Street North Side, removing the handicap parking space at 124 East Minor Street South Side, and adding one handicap space in front of 144 East Minor Street South Side, adding one handicap space at the 300 block of Linden Street South Side.
Righty, Hector Mojica from Parking Services, and as a manager for the Parking Services. Person from 144 East Minor Street submitted that placard, the ID card, the license. I spoke to the individual a few days ago, last week. Person that requested for handicap at 144 East Minor, he had heart surgery, neck surgery, leg surgery, and he suffers from sciatic nerves in the back of his leg. So his walk it's limited. So if he takes a few steps, he's out of breath. So he's looking to see if you guys will approve a handicap for him at 144 East Minor Street. I spoke to the man. The man is sick, and I think he should get one. And to show you, the man submitted, the person gave me the information. A few of them here, sorry. Card. That's required for the state of PA. The second one is from 300 block of, it's more like 701 South Penn Street. But they're looking to get the handicap space on 300 block of Linden Street between Sergeant Yarnell and South Penn Street. Same thing with this person. This person has heart issues. Walking is limited. Surgery also with this person. This individual submitted the same. ID card, placard. Again, that's required as per his PA. Law. So I, myself, like I said, I spoke to those two individuals. I mean, request for you guys to approve it. It's up to you guys to decide yes or no. Any questions?
Yeah, I think it's completely fine. How many of these? It's a lot, isn't it?
That's why we talk about,
Yeah.
that's why, if you look at, number areas, letter C, consider adding 2 handicap spaces at 132 East Minor Street.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Wait.
The reason why this is separate is because the person that requested this is a married couple. They both was involved in an accident, vehicle accident. They are limited capacity in walking, but they're looking for 2 handicap spaces. My thing is that parking in that neighborhood is tight. There's 20 parking spaces. You could park 22 cars on the south side and you can park 20 cars on the north side. In my opinion, one handicap space for both will be enough, not two. Because, I mean, I didn't ask the residents on 130, 134 East Minor, how would they feel if they want a handicap space? My opinion is that I don't think I would want another handicap space in front of my house. So, I mean, and this person that's requesting, there's 2 handicap spaces in 132 East Minor Street. They don't have 1 car, they don't have 2 cars, they have 3+ cars. So I would request 1 handicap for that 132 East Minor Street, not 2. But again, we're removing 2, right? So that means we're gonna add 3. Right, 3. So it'll still be limited because right now there's in that block, there's one on 145 East Minor Street. 137, we're gonna remove that one. 124, we're gonna remove that one. So that's 1 left. And if we give the person 144 and 132, we still have 3 handicap spaces anyway. Make sense? No, what I'm saying is that if we remove the handicap space at 124 East Minor Street, right? And 137, there's one on 145. That person utilizes the handicap 24/7, right? So now again, I'm coming to you guys with a request for 3 handicap spaces, one for 144, no, 2, and one for 132. So we'll still have 3. All right? Right. Right now there's 3. We'll take 2 out. We're going to move those 2 into the new request or new locations. So we're not adding anything else. We'll still have 3 handicap spaces in that block. So again, we're not adding any more handicap spaces. We're just moving them around. So what happens that once the ordinance is approved, is adopted and all that stuff, and Sean signs off on it, and the council president signs off on it, I'll get the ordinance. I pass it on to Borough Council, or to Public Works, to request to have the sign removed, and then they'll color the curve from the blue back to gray. So, and technically, a handicap space cannot be enforced if it's not a sign posted. So,
I only asked because on Sharpwood Street, where it didn't really matter, there was definitely some blue curb left at one point, actually sort of in front of my property, which everyone ignored, which was fine because we didn't need it and nobody needed it. But I would think in a space that's that tight for parking, I just want to make sure it's abundantly clear
right,
where they are and where they are not.
right. Yeah, no, that's one thing since I've been here and the request a handicap space removed, I make sure I talk to Public Works to remove the blue paint from the curb too, so. Because people see blue paint on the curb and they're afraid to park there. I get your point, so. That's always my part. So 144 is good? One on 703 South Penn by Linden 300 Linden Street is good? Still right? Yes, yes. So again, there's 3 on 100 East Minor Street. We're taking 2. Those 2 we're removing. We're going to add them on to the south side. Okay.
Okay. Is there any other business? Then the meeting is adjourned.